I don't fully know how to explain it, but there's something very funny about this being the first event where I am official media.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about CES 2023, or the Consumer Electronics Show from the Consumer Technology Association. And yes, I was official media for this event. Technically, I was an official digital content creator, but we'll talk about all of that because fully not sure what happened there. CES is an event I've heard about for years. It's a massive event in Las Vegas. I actually was under the impression that it hadn't happened since 2020 because of the pandemic. However, apparently it did happen last year. I just heard nothing about it. And I heard that from my friend King, or as you guys know him, Plain Rock 124. He's also a YouTuber. He went last year for the first time, and he told me it's like, yeah, it seemed like it was just not like a good time to go, basically, because they probably shouldn't have had it because a bunch of people pulled out because of COVID. CES is not open to the public. It's my understanding that you have to be a part of the industry in some capacity, a buyer or media. I applied as media. Now, here's where we're not entirely sure what happened because my dad, two of his friends, my dad's business partner, and then one of his friend's sons, who also works for his friend, and then King, and then another TikToker that I met, and then a couple other people. All of us applied as media, every single one of us, okay? We all got accepted as media. However, some of our badges said media, and some of us had digital content creator. All of us, at least those of us that are YouTubers, one of the ways that we were able to be accepted as media is that I think you had to show that you had 50,000 or more views monthly in order to be classified as media that's also a digital content creator. We all did that. We all sent over our analytics and showed that we were YouTubers and that we met the criteria, but not all of us had digital content creators. So we're not entirely sure what happened there. Because of that, I got in for free. I did not pay a dime to go to CES. My hotel, all of that, I had to pay for myself, but I was also there for AVN. When those videos come out, you can watch those. But that was a completely separate event. And so I stayed at the hotel of that event, which is fine because CES is entirely spread out through the Las Vegas Strip area. And it's a 5-day event. I think it's 4 days, but for me, it felt like 6. Because I was classified as media, there were 2 extra days for media. There were media days. So the first 2 days were all media days. It starts in the evening, and it's like a tech trends to watch presentation from the head of the Consumer Technology Association, CTA. But the main reason we were excited to be there was that after that presentation is CES Unveiled. And this is basically a mini CES. It's a bunch of the exhibitors and startups that are going to be at CES in one room together as like early access specifically for media. Unveiled was great because you get the ability to see a bunch of companies and startups and innovations that you may not get to see throughout the event because it is so spread out. You probably, feasibly, maybe could go to everything and see every booth, but I don't think it's all that likely. I saw majority of ththings, I think, because I did not go to any of the presentations throughout CES. People were very nice, very excited. Lots of PR people. Oh, PR people. I do not have an issue at all with people in PR. What I do have an issue with is your press releases. I need you all to take one writing class. One, or at least learn what a paragraph is and how long they should be and when to start a new paragraph. When you are media, your email is sent out and your name is on a list, my guess is, because I was sent so many press releases. So many. Most of them all looked the same in that they were designed to give me an aneurysm. They were just blocks of text. If anything, it made me want to talk about the products less. There was also options for me to sign up for demos and talk with a couple of people during the event itself. I did that for 2 companies and then I was like, this seems unnecessary and excessive. So I stopped doing that. I don't think I received one press release that was not a poorly formatted essay. If you want to reach out to me and call me a bitch for saying that, that's okay. I did not want to read a single word of them when there's just a block of text. And then links. The next day was all press conferences from exhibitors and major companies for the media. I got there for Hisense, Panasonic, went into Brunswick for a little bit, then went to lunch, then left to go to AVN and came back for the Sony event that was at the Las Vegas Convention Center. During the Panasonic presentation is where I started my list of consistent buzzwords I was hearing. Sustainable tech, carbon neutral, climate change, AI, digital twin, Heard that a lot. Still don't fully understand what they were talking about. And EV or electric vehicles. That was the consistencies that I saw throughout the event. Also, Metaverse, but kiss my butt. This is the first I heard that breakdancing was going to be a part of 2024 Olympics. Did not know about that. And then Technics, which is their company, is going to be providing the turntables for the Olympics. Now, they were like, oh, here's Team USA to do a breakdancing demonstration with our Technics display, with our Technics turntable. They could not get the right switch flipped, it seemed, to get the Technics turntable to connect to the speakers. So it was super low. And then someone tried to just hold the mic up next to it. But like, does that work? So people laughed. And then the breakdancers started dancing to music that no one could hear. And I don't even think they could hear because they're a beat. If there was one, they weren't on it. We went to Brunswick because King apparently had Googled it and something for bowling popped up. And we thought it would be funny to go to the bowling company that felt they needed a whole press release for the event. No, Brunswick was a boating company. And I thought this was interesting with Brunswick because they were trying to bring their brand into the new age. They did a rebrand of their logo and were part of the press announcement. And then they were talking about one of their engines because they do engines, onboard computers, things like that for their boats. They also showed a video of a self-docking boat that would be automated. They were like, look, there's no one in the steering wheel I don't boat, but they showed a video that was talking about an advertisement for their engines. And what I thought was interesting is something that I've noticed a lot lately is that older generations and more established companies are still selling an ideal. Like, this is what your life will be like if you buy your products from us. Not, this is what our product is. Here's how it works. This is why you should be the one to buy it. Commercial-ish promo ad thing that was talking about their engines kept zooming in on the faces of the family and the party goers on the boat and showing them having a good time. And I was like, what about the engine? Like, how fast does it work? She's having a blast, but like, how fast is the boat going? You know, like there's certain things, it's just interesting to see the differences in advertising when it comes to different generations and who's behind the wheel of the advertising, which I thought was interesting. And then I went to Sony. Sony, emphasis on big screen storytelling, but then they talked about the Last of Us HBO Max show, which I thought was interesting because it's like emphasis on big screen storytelling. Here's our HBO Max show. I wrote down Project Leonardo and I forgot what that was. They have a Project Leonardo. Oh, I remember what it was. Okay, wait, I do remember. Project Leonardo is their gaming equipment for differently abled people. Yay, I remembered. Okay, no. So it was kind of cool. And it was all interchangeable and all customizable. The one thing they weren't talking about was price, which is always the thing that gets me about these things because like, oh, we built this specifically for accessibility and people with different needs. And they don't talk about the price. And the price is usually fucking insane. Okay. And so it's like, talk about the price. It's for accessibility, but it's not accessible if it's $1 jillion. Then Gran Torino. I literally wrote Gran Torino IP earning some cash. So the Gran Torino movie is coming out. Apparently they designed a whole new way to film things with their new cameras. Then they were talking about their version of the metaverse and how the Gran Torino, every time they said Gran Torino, I just started going like this, like I'm taking a shot. Next day, expo time. So the expo halls, I am a content creator. I was there as media. I was there to review the event itself, but also potentially find potential products, companies, things to talk about for other videos, okay? If I found something that was blatantly a scam, perfect. Before the original presentation on night one, we were all talking about like what different types of tech we were looking into seeing, like if there's anything we were interested in seeing. And I said, I can't wait for someone to explain their innovation to me. And it's literally just a human rights violation. Sure enough, during the presentation, that did happen. There was a couple of different things, but the one that stuck out to me was that there was a company that was about like kind of for employees in a warehouse for lifting heavy things. It was like a robotic exoskeleton thing to help with like sturdiness and everything. He just started talking about workers' comp claims. It's like, we're going to get those down. We're going to keep those down. Not injuries to employees. No, the workers' comp claims. Those we're going to keep down to further automate because there's a worker shortage. So let's just get rid of those jobs that need workers. No, let's replace them with expensive robots. There was a funny clip where he was like, you guys remember subscription heated seats, which BMW announced a few months back?
Heard about paying a subscription fee for your heated seats? Will that be the tip of the iceberg? I don't know. We're going to find out. Maybe some of the vehicle OEMs here at CES 2020, AM/FM radio we all might have taken for granted by this time, become a subscription service. If you want that, you have to pay a monthly fee. Again, I don't know, and I'm not saying it will, but features as a service is definitely an emerging trend.
Like, it was an exciting thing. What? There's a certain level of just ludicrousy that's almost comical. If you are going to CES and you have an exact plan of what you want to see, companies you want to see, trends you want to see, whatever. If you have a goal of, I want to see companies that are working in securities or Metaverse or smart homes or whatever, whatever. Look on the app, find out what those companies are, where their booths are, and make a game plan based on that. You will be having a bad time otherwise if you just go in blind. I went in with no plan. And for me, it was fine, but it was a lot. I got a bunch of different reactions from people because not only was I media, I was a digital content creator. Now, so much of this event, and I don't even just think it was because of what my job is, so much of this event, when you go up to a booth, they are thinking, what can you do for me? Which is fine. This is an event for a lot of buyers, potential investors, other people in the industry. You have a power problem? We have a power source. Let's talk. You need 3D printed parts? We make 3D printers. Let's talk. It's a lot of that. So already as media, you're kind of starting behind. People already barely want to talk to you unless you are from a company that they on-site recognize you. Swell Entertainment, that they thought that was a media company already. Okay, fine. When I say, no, I'm a content creator, I run a YouTube channel that gets on average 2 million views monthly. Some people understood that. They were like, oh, cool, great. Do you want to talk about our product? Let me tell you about our product. Here's everything we have. Do you want a sticker? Do you want a pen? Here you go. Okay. Some people did not care. Okay. Here's a pen. Goodbye. You ever just talk to someone and you can tell they think you're stupid? I got that quite a bit. And even then, when I would approach my questions, I would approach with my questions from a consumer perspective because I am a professional consumer. And so I'm asking, is it on market yet? Who is your target demographic? Who is your target buyer? Where are you going to sell this from? Are you selling internationally yet? What is the price point? Do you think that that is a solid price point of where you are at? Why are you at that price point? There's things that I ask that some people don't want to ask. They don't want asked. They want you to tell them how cool their product is. Wow, that's a really cool portable charger. It's not like there's another 50 in this 1 square yard of space on this expo hall floor. Very cool. Like, tell me why yours is different. Someone actually asked me, do you know what that is? I don't remember what it was. I was just like, I do actually, but go on. There were definitely companies that had younger people working their booths who understood the value of a YouTuber talking about your product. And they were like, oh my gosh, okay, come here. Like, let me get your badge. Do you have a LinkedIn? What's the best way to get in contact you? You have a business card. Here's my business card. Like, very much like, let's talk, let's build this relationship, let's get it going. What I experienced a lot at the Las Vegas Convention Center specifically was a lot of new for the brands that were there. There wasn't a crazy amount of innovation where I was like, oh my God, this is the newest, this is the hottest new thing. Like, this is innovation. This is amazing. This is incredible. There wasn't a ton of that. There was a few things. There was one company that had the wireless TV. Cool. There was this one company that I talked to, Aiper, A-I-P-E-R. They have pool cleaning robots. This one was a completely submergible pool cleaning robot. No cords, no attachments. Would dive, submerge itself, and clean your pool. Did a full demo. Very cool. Very impressive. I was like, why are we wasting on this on pool cleaning? This could be something cool. I get it. You start small, but I think there's something there for a bigger scale for cleaning up waterways and things like that. Hermes. Lots of Metaverse. And my whole thing with the Metaverse is that I don't care. And so far, no one has been able to convince me to care. Every time someone tries to convince me that I should care about the Metaverse, it's talking about how you can build a company within the Metaverse, how you can make money from the Metaverse, all these different ways to build and make things in the Metaverse, to make games and profit and blah, blah, blah. And the thing is that businesses, games, property, even innovation like that, from a business perspective, is kind of pointless if you don't have the consumers, the buyers, the players also involved, also interested. Right now, the only hype I see around the Metaverse, for the most part, is people who are excited to make money from it. I don't see a lot of hype from people who are like, oh yeah, I want to play this game in the Metaverse, or I want to go and live this life in the Metaverse, or whatever have you, from someone who's just a buyer, consumer, someone who wants to exist as a user in the Metaverse. And none of these companies seem to have convinced me that that's coming. The thing about the Metaverse is that the quality of a lot of these videos is not great, these demos even. Like the quality of this video, the formatting of this video is higher quality visually than a lot of these demos. I get it. It's a new frontier. It's a new technology. It's a new format and all this stuff. But like when you have quality of video games, what they are now, why would someone want to go and play that quality of 2009 graphics, if even that, for hours at a time when your eyes are going cross, you know, like with the giant tubular Oculus on their heads or whatever. Also, side note, surely some of you can make a better looking headgear for this thing. They all look so dorky. So dorky. Where's that innovation? That's what I want. Cooler looking VR headsets. Then we had the West Hall, was all the vehicles and the companies that have cars, tech for cars. Brunswick was there. Lots of screens, more screens than cars. Shouldn't we be watching the road? Just me. Oh yeah, we're not supposed to talk about the cobalt mines. Someone tried to convince me, this is in Eureka Park later when I brought this up. Someone said, well, that's worth it because of what can be saved because of that in 5 years' time, because of the other sustainability efforts and the energy that is saved and all this stuff. And I was like, so because it's better for the environment in 5 years, the human labor being used to mine the cobalt, that's worth it? Is that what you're telling me? Well, like nothing can change all around. And all of a sudden, I was like, my guy, what? Excuse me? That's a whole other video, the cobalt situation. I had to go to a presentation for Kizzic in the Venetian Expo Hall, which was on the top floor, and then Eureka Hall was down below. We'll talk about Eureka Hall in a second. Kizzic is a shoe company that is designed to be able to put the shoes on and off without having to tie the laces. They're like slip-on shoes. Basically, there is a cage in the back of the shoe that when you step in, it crunches down, and then it snaps back in place to cover your heel so that the shoe does not slide off, but it makes it easier to slide on and slide off. So it's good for people with accessibility issues and good for people who maybe deal with Parkinson's and tremoring and all of that, tying shoelaces and all this stuff. I got to demo those. They were pretty comfortable and they were telling me how they hold up over time and all this stuff, which I thought was cool. This is where a lot of the different countries' innovations were set up. This was also the awards hall, basically. So it's like all the different companies, products, innovations, whatever, that have been awarded CES awards for 2023. There was a lot more actually innovative products that I was actually very excited about. And I will say, as far as a lot of international companies go, lots more innovation happening internationally, in that the US was boring me. I was bored. For a lot of the companies that I could tell, I was like, okay, you're based in the US. What are you doing that's different? What are you doing that's new? What are you doing that's solving a problem? It was just like, here's this thing. Cool. What else? And so Eureka Park, wish I would have started at Eureka Park. I would have been, actually, I'm kind of glad I didn't start at Eureka Park, because then I would have been immensely saddened and disappointed by the rest of the event. Eureka Park is where a lot of the startups are, or all of the startups are really. And so this is where I found a lot of cool products, a lot of cool innovations, a lot of cool things that I really want to go and try and review for videos. Some of which I'm like, this is a scam. But that's fine. That's exciting for me. But there was a lot more very cool products. In particular, France had a lot of cool things going on. Taiwan also were doing a bunch of stuff with green energy and green initiative. There was this really cool, I'm gonna get my hands on these. I'm going to. There are these glasses that I tried that do captioning in real time. So like you and I are talking, and on the glasses screen is auto captioning happening, and they were very accurate. The formatting definitely needs work, but I was very impressed. Me and the employee were talking, and it was not quiet in there at all, and it was only picking up like our conversation and translating or and captioning it in real time. And I was like, oh, this is really impressive. It was a little jarring, but also I have astigmatism. I was not wearing glasses, and he was like, we have seen that people who wear these over their current prescription do have a better time, but I was able to read it for the most part. I also have dyslexia. Allegedly, there is a thing that makes water from air. It wasn't working while I was there, and then my dad told me that they also said it's not working right now. It won't work for another 24 hours. They gave me a water sample. I am going to test it. Supposedly it's alkaline. There were a lot of companies that, my joke about like human rights violations, that's just kind of saying the quiet part out loud. Like, oh, we have a program that works off of already existing security cameras to map out human behavior and track who is going where and all this stuff. And it's like, stop. No. How about? But it was a lot of that as well, of like, yeah, here's how we're monitoring the public. Here's how you can monitor the public. With events like this in a place like Vegas, I don't recommend waiting till end of day to leave. Good luck getting out of there in a timely fashion. Also, it was cold. Because I was a digital content creator, Apparently, I got a free t-shirt. If I went over to the Aria to the C-suite, which apparently was where like all of the creator stuff was. Allegedly, this is where TikTok was. I never got confirmation that that's where TikTok was. Saturday was the last day for me to go and pick up my t-shirt and all of that. So I went over to the Aria. And honestly, if it weren't for the fact that the Delta Starbucks booth was giving out iced coffee and also doing a little giveaway so that if you could show that you had linked your Delta Sky Miles account to Starbucks, you could hit the magic window and it would give you something. I got a $50 Delta gift card. If it weren't for that, it would not have been worth it to go over there. None of the booths struck me as crazy. Nothing was crazy. There was one booth that had a paper ceiling because it was talking about how you don't need a bachelor's degree to like be successful because of creation. It was also mainly a presentation on all the stuff, lots of metaverse, lots of NFTs, lots of, other ways to monetize yourself. So Sunday was the last day of CES. I went to just Venetian and then Eureka Park, which is in the Venetian. The Las Vegas Convention Center was also open. All the other locations were closed that day. So I spent most of the day finishing up what I didn't get to see of the expo hall that morning. Found a couple of cool companies. There's a translator. It's like a little mobile translator. And this guy was showing me how he could speak to me in Polish and I could speak to him in English and it would translate to Polish and then translate it for us, which was cool. And then also he was able to show me like the conversation he had with another, a chess robot company that spoke Hindi, and they were speaking Hindi and Polish back and forth to each other. And that was cool, but it would also translate into English. Very cool. Very affordable. I'm going to look into it, honestly. Something that I wanted to mention that I totally forgot to mention is, I don't know if this was a media thing. I saw this quite a bit at the Media Unveiled event that night, CES Unveiled. Filming was encouraged, obviously, because it's a media event. They want you, all these companies want you to make content from them, put them in your magazine, your website, whatever. They want it all. So they don't care if you're filming everything. But what I also saw a lot was people walking up, taking like with their cameras, taking photos, video, and then grabbing everything off the table and walking away without speaking to the people at the tables. Is it weird that I talk to people at these events? Is that weird? There were people talking. It wasn't just me. I want to make that clear. But like, is that not normal to converse with the people at these booths? Because there were times where people were very excited to tell me they didn't care where I was. They were just excited to tell me about their project or what they were doing because they were excited about it. Or they were like, oh, anyone hearing anything is good news, so let's talk about it. And then there were times where it's like, okay, here's a pen, goodbye. Why are you talking to me? There's a lot of that as well. So is it weird that I talk to people at these events? Sometimes I do think it works in my benefit, like that Unveiled night. I got put on several PR people's radars and all of that as far as talking about future company things and all of that. I think that's good. All in all, would I go to CES again? Yes, I would. I would definitely go with more of a game plan. I would go as a content creator again because I do think it gave me a freedom. Personally as well, which it was something I was not being very open about, is I am looking at potential companies to invest in moving forward because I do want to put money into companies that I believe in, that I'm interested in, that I think are really doing something. I don't know exactly how I would go about that as an investor moving forward. So we'll see if they let me back in after this video. I don't know. We'll find out. Like I said at the start, you need to have a game plan going in. If you only want to talk to certain type of companies, know how to pitch yourself. But also, if you're one of these companies, know some basic things about your company. Like, what are you selling? Who are you selling to? Why should they buy it from you versus someone else? I'm using the portable power generator thing because it's just the easiest option because there were so many of them at this event. Why is yours better than the next three next to you? Why should I choose you over these people? Same goes with who are you trying to sell to? Who is your target demographic? Everyone needs this. Everyone could use this. No. Who are you selling to? Why should they buy it from you and not anyone else? I think those are basic questions that you should be able to answer when you're trying to talk about your product. Lots of interesting innovations. I really liked Eureka Hall. I was very impressed by a lot of what I saw and very interested in seeing more. My whole thing with innovations now and like as far as scientific discoveries go and things like that, I think a lot of what's been found out and discovered has been done. I don't know if we'll find out anymore, but I do think there'll be new ways and new processes applied to old ways that we have done things because of new developing technology. And whether that technology is the advancement itself or we learn more things because of said technology applied to other things. That was a really convoluted way of saying new things make old things new. I do think there are important ethics discussions that we do need to have alongside the electric vehicle discussion, automation, all this other stuff, whether it's automation of cars, automations of workplaces, automations of healthcare. Lots of healthcare happening here. I have a whole video planned on the health startup industry because I have a lot of issues with health companies being treated and thought of as tech companies. That's really going to be it. Have you ever been to CES? Would you like to go to CES? Would you invite me back to CES, or do you think they will not allow me back in because I've talked like this about this event? Have you seen anything out of CES that you were really impressed by? Is there anything that you think you'd like to see more of in future at future CESs or future innovation events or whatever? What have you? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder of a podcast, the Swell Shenanigans podcast. Reminder, I have merch like this mug, and there will be new designs for this video as well on Fourth Wall. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd also support me on Patreon, let me know down below. Like to follow me on social media, let me up here, and that's gonna be the have of the day. Goodbye. I think this whole event could just be summed up by, once again, I am just here to be annoying.
Thank you, Alan, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, P, Crash PC, China, Dirty One, Don, Donnie, Elliot, Evan, Eric, Eol, Hopeless Incognito, Isaiah, Jacare, James, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Cami, Kim, Kristen, Lamb, Lexis, Luis, Matt O, Matthew, Meme Lord, Michael J, Micah, Nathan, Nathaniel, Pat, Penn, Richard, Robert Ross, Ryan, Sam, Serena, Sierra, Skylar, Simon, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Heavenly, Plastic, Tom, Qwerty, Randy, Winter, Wendy, Williams, Endries Week.